Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. We've got a busy one on deck for you tonight. Got a couple different guests going to be passing through here to say hello, focusing on some stuff that's been happening up here, that's going to be happening, I should say, up here in the Northeast. Appreciate you making the time to hang out with us for a little bit here on episode number 370, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to be talking with Tommy Woodbury and Seth Blaisdell here in just a few minutes. We're also going to be talking to Nick King ahead of this weekend's Unified Point Series event, the Iron City National, scheduled for the 18th over there in New Alexandria, Pennsylvania at the Lions Club. And then also going to be talking with Jason Sauer, who's got the Not So Elite event that's going to be part of that over there at the Iron City National, so we're going to be talking with him as well. Ryan has football practice, so he is not with us at the moment. I don't believe he's going to be making it here tonight, even though practice has been pushed a little bit later this evening, so I don't think we're going to be catching up with him. So let's dive right into it. Tommy Woodbury and Seth hanging out with us here on the line. They are here to talk about DNA Motorsports' first event coming up here this month, just a few, about 10 days away or so from the Green Mountain Fall Bash, which is It's creeping up on us in rapid fashion. It's going to be the first event for those guys with DNA Motorsports. How's everything going up there in New Hampshire today, and Vermont?
Well, for Vermont.
Yeah, I know. Some reason I'm getting a bunch of pop in there, and I'm not paying any attention to the words coming out of my mouth, and I'm trying to fix it so it's not clipping your ears off over there. And yeah, I know where you're at.
Yeah, everything's going pretty good. We've got everything kind of figured out, and we're getting ready here the 25th, so it's just a little under 2 weeks away. We got a lot of money set aside, a whole bunch of money to pay all our drivers, so we hope a whole bunch of people show up.
This is your first venture. How's everything been in terms of the planning, in terms of the organization of all of that?
Everything's been pretty good. I'm real lucky because Seth and also Annette are way more organized than I am. So right. I handled a lot of the tech side of it, dealing with drivers, writing rules, and Annette and Seth have kept me online to make sure that I'm not overstepping anything that I shouldn't be.
Is it tough to gauge that?
The money side of it has been a bit of a stress level, I think, for all of us. When you start adding everything up, it's a lot of money to do this.
Yes, it's not for the faint of heart, I suppose.
No, but I think we got everything in line to put on a really good show. It's a little different than what we normally have here. We're giving it out. We separated their compacts, and they're going to get a $2,000 to win feature. And then we got a completely different rule set for the V8 full size stuff. That's going to be $2,000 to win that heat and feature, and then. We incorporated the junk run, which is something we saw out there in New York that we really liked. So we got the vans and the mini SUVs and trucks, and then we're going to do the full-size trucks as a one-and-done heat, too. So hopefully there's something for everybody. Oh, and then we also we had a lot of interest in a girls' heat, so we got ladies' heat going, the Diva Destruction Heat. That's 100% payback, plus I did pick up a $100 sponsor from Wayne Sabbins, who's pitched in $100 towards the winning.
That's awesome. Green Mountain Fall Bash is going to be September the 25th at the Addison County Fairgrounds at 1790 Field Days Road in Vergennes, Vermont, if I'm butchering that too.
Nope, you got that just how it is.
So we talked a little bit about how this event came to pass and sort of filling a void, so to say, for the New England runners that They wanted to do a little bit more than what they were accustomed to at their hometown fair. It's a noble cause. It's a noble venture to try and say that you're going to fill a void like that. Now that we've gone through the summer and You've had the chance to field all the questions. Is this going to fill the void the way that you expected it to? Are the drivers responding to the opportunity that they've been given to expand a little bit and have a little bit different program in their backyard versus having to travel into New York or Pennsylvania or Ohio to do some of the stuff that you guys have had the opportunity to do as builders yourselves?
For me, I think it is. I've gotten pretty much 99% positive feedback from everybody that I've talked to. I think Seth feels the same way.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is, like, we've had a ton of sponsors come on board, and honestly, they made a lot of this possible with all, the money that's being spent, but the sponsors are on board with us trying something new. They're here to support, two local people trying to make it Vermont, put Vermont on the map and make it better for the drivers. So to have that support of drivers and sponsors has definitely brought us to the next level. And that's a good thing.
What have been some of the surprises in terms of the questions, in terms of the rule set, in terms of what they can do, what the drivers care, what the builders can't do? Some of the questions that you've been fielding that have come up over and over again. What are some of the things that have surprised you in terms of putting this together and that response?
For me, it's actually been guys that wanted to do a little bit more than we had in the rules. We're used to really stock build here.
Right.
I had some guys that wanted to step it up even further than what we did. I didn't want to do like lower cradles on the full size or anything because there's never been a show in Vermont where you could run it. At least not in our area. I think maybe up north a few guys have been running them pretty much unnoticed. But then the other thing I noticed is just people that were willing to give ideas and stuff they wanted to see if we could continue doing this, which has been really great.
So you're talking about lifetime feedback.
Yeah, we've had. My phone doesn't stop. It's been crazy. As if it wasn't bad enough before with just, talking to your friends or other derby buddies. Now it's a whole bunch of people that maybe would have never talked to me that message me almost every day and talk to me about rules or what they're working on, which is, I like it. It does keep you busy. Sometimes when you're at work, you got to shut your phone off because the thing just doesn't stop.
Is it tough to find that dividing line where it's like, okay, I gotta just stop because I know your sense of duty to Demolition Derby, it generally runs pretty high and you love the sport, but it comes to the point where it's like just pulling what's left of your hair out and it sort of takes over your life.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like a double-edged sword because you're going into this, you're nervous, and then now getting all the messages and the support, you don't want to obviously like not answer or turn people away, and it feels good to get that support, but like trying to eat dinner with the family or enjoy a couple hours, it doesn't, and it's all different avenues too, which is good. Tommy and I have pretty much sold a majority of our own cars or rented them out to people to come to our own show. People wanted to come and run but couldn't find cars around here, so pretty much anything we've had, we've just let people borrow or rent to make that show possible. And even drivers who can't make the show with prior commitments have just opened up their garage and let people take really what they wanted for them to make the show. So
that's awesome.
I'm down to one good bumper left on the rack, and that's gone tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I hope we do good because I need to restock.
Right. The comparison, I suppose. I guess maybe this is downplaying things a little bit, given that doctors and medical personnel are being stressed to the limit to no end. But it almost sounds like you guys are like doctors on call, where you never know if you're picking up a phone call on some sort of legitimate emergency, or if it's just something about asking about tire rules and what you're allowed to do with those combinations, or something that is just overtly not in the rules, and somebody's trying to finagle their way in with it.
Yep, we've had the guys ask the blatant question, "Can I do this?" And most of the time it's, "I've already told 5 guys you can't do that, so I'm not going to let you." I've had a ton of questions on tires and what to run. It's a weird track. It's clay. It's just like any old clay dirt track that you see the modifieds run on. So if you keep the water just enough to keep the dust down, it's hard as a rock.
Right.
Where
Right.
I'm a pretty firm believer that I don't think a skid steer would be what I would choose.
So when you guys rent out this facility, do they have any? Like, sometimes you get involved with fairs, and fairs want to err on the side of caution, and they oversaturate the track, and it turns into a quagmire. It turns more into a mud bog than anything else in the name of safety, because I don't want anybody going too fast and causing any injury. Do they have any say in that, or is this going to be a driver's track constructed by drivers?
So there's a racing commission in the state of Vermont, so we are restricted on track size and distance between spectators. But as far as the fair board goes, I do believe a very large amount of the fair board is going to come to watch. Mm-hmm. And but we rented the track facility, or we should have free reign.
So tell me more about this racing commission, because I think this is the first that I can remember hearing about it. You know, we see periodically Empire Super Sprints go up into compete in Vermont. I think they're at Bear Creek Speedway this year. Devil's Bowl is still regularly regularly in competition up until I want to say that they changed hands, but I think they're still open. And then Dave Camara drove modifieds for quite some time. He used to come out of that neck of the woods and come down and run at Utica Rome quite a bit. What does the Gaming Commission do? How do they regulate things? I mean, or the Racing Commission? It's not. It doesn't sound like it's the same as like Dirt Motorsports, where Dirt Car oversees the rules of particular classes of race cars. This sounds like it's more in terms of like the boxing commissions.
Their main thing they do is they are like a safety commission for what we can and can't do with the facility.
Huh.
Seth has more info on that. He's actually talked to them way more than I have.
Yeah, so like the racing commission, it limits to, you know, certain how many pit members per driver you can have, age of people in the pits. You know, I think state of Vermont is 14. We went with 16, and then they'll come in and inspect. You know, they'll inspect to make sure the track is at the size. Like, fair boards have to submit permits for the size track of the Derby that year. So they'll measure the track to make sure it's legitimately that size, to make sure you have appropriate signage up, to make sure your, you know, barriers are so many feet away from the grandstands and any people sitting. Make sure you have, you know, fire, EMS, security. That's all has to be there. Check your insurance paperwork. The list goes on. But honestly, I've just called them and talked to them to make sure we're in the right and we really don't have any hiccups. Try to, you know, make friends with them instead of enemies, because if this works out when we grow, it'd be good, you know, even to learn from them as we go on.
So what's the track maximum, so to say? So are you guys running as big as you can? You leaving yourself some wiggle room? What's the...
So right now the Addison County Fair Board submitted a permit for 50 by 150.
Okay.
So I have reached out to the Racing Commission, the lady in charge, sent a couple emails waiting, you know, to hear back to try to, width-wise, we can't do much with that, just the way the track is where the people sit. But length-wise, we are going to try to, you know, extend that up to 50 feet so we can have, you know, a 50 by 200. It's kind of more long and narrow track.
Right.
So to speak.
It's about as wide as Morris.
No, it sounds pretty narrow. It sounds at least partially like a Yates County Fair track or a Seneca County Fair track. I would love to see what the commission, the inspectors that come to visit the grounds for the Green Mountain Fall Bash would think of a facility like the Franklin County Fairgrounds in Malone, New York, where the track is, you know, I don't think that it's quite 50 feet wide. I don't think you can get 3 cars nose to tail from the grandstand side to the infield side, but it's probably like 310, 320 feet long. The thing is just a monster drag strip. And it goes basically from turn 4 to what used to be turn 1. It is just enormously long. There's some footage of that. Jamie St. Mary runs there quite a bit. The power team and the good old boys run up there. So I'd love to see what they think about a track like that.
Yeah, that's where Jamie hit the guy head on with the Imperial.
Right, that's the one. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the one.
they do tractor pulls here, so the track is, we could get 300 foot, but I don't know if they'll let us have it.
I don't think they would either. I think you're smart and just kind of letting things go the way that it is right now. Don't rock the boat. Make friends. Ask for permission endlessly instead of begging for forgiveness later. And maybe they will be inclined to give you a little bit more if it's something that you come to a point where you want it. But you don't want a 300-foot track that has 8 to 10 cars on it for a qualifying heat, because then you're just asking to send everybody to the hospital at that point.
Yeah, we don't want that. We're hoping just a little longer so we can have plenty of room for 10 to 20 cars at a time.
Tell me a little bit more about the junk run, seeing that happen in New York and bringing that over to bringing that back up there to Vermont and how that has all come together. Because that's not a unique thing to New York, but it certainly has earned a reputation of being one of the hardest hitting events, no matter where you go throughout the Empire State, when the trucks and vans or the light trucks and light SUVs, whatever way you want to measure it against the given promoter, it's just insane. You know, they start really walloping on each other, and it gets plenty entertaining. It's over fairly quick, but it's something that you can usually find trucks and vans fairly cheap. It doesn't take a lot to build, and you can go out there and you can wreck something to be part of the show.
Yeah, in our area, the guys love minivans, and then there's like a handful of 2 or 3 that'll show up with a mini truck or a mini SUV, and you don't have a super great place to put them. So I think this opens up a lot of doors for these guys. I still would probably say we'll have more minivans than anything. So I've received a ton of messages on the oddest vehicles I think I've ever heard of Derby, and that I think are going to show up.
Like what?
Volkswagen Tiguan. It's one of the weird ones I got.
Okay, all right.
And, then there's a good buddy of mine messaged me. He picked up a RAV4 he's going to wreck. So I've never seen one of those go before. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a RAV4 before.
No, and then there was another one, it might be like a Honda Element. So that's a little bit on the smaller side, but it does kind of fit in that crossover where you don't have anywhere to put it.
Right. Is the Element all electric?
No, the Element is just a 4-cylinder mini SUV-like thing, box thing.
Yeah. Okay.
We did have a guy message us about a Prius. I did, and I don't know a thing about them, so I didn't think that was great for us to get in the first show.
Well, Jason Sauer had to get all sorts of clearance, and he was talking with the engineers, and I think he wrecked an all-electric Prius at some point because he didn't want to. His first and foremost fear was he didn't want to somehow take a rear-end collision and short the batteries out and get electrocuted because he touched the door sill or something like that, you know? So,
yeah, that was kind of my thought. With my job, I was a dismantler at Brown's Auto Salvage where I work, and Prius and all them hybrid batteries, there's a lot to them when you take them out of a car. I can only imagine trying to build one into a derby car.
Yeah. He had some interesting stories when he was talking about running that. I think he took that to Stoneboro, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I remember that. I seem to think Steven Sickles ran one last year, but maybe didn't have much luck.
It's entirely possible. I don't know for sure. Steven Sickles, just about an insurmountable lead at this point, it would seem. Somebody has to go on quite the run, so he's going to focus a little bit more on family. So certainly thinking of Steven Sickles and hoping that everything is going well for Steven as he works through the rest of the 2021 season. And we look forward at some point, as long as everything is peaceful at home and working out for him, for his life and his well-being, that we look forward to catching up with him soon. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Iron City Nationals here in a little bit, talking with Nick King and Jason Sauer here towards the bottom of the hour, still catching up with Seth Blaisdell and Tommy Woodbury about DNA Motorsports and the Green Mountain Fall Bash coming up on the 25th of September. You were talking about the lower cradles and how most of the stuff up there was stock. Has the built engine started to infiltrate a little bit more heavily in Vermont and in New England at this point?
Here and there. I mean, you have that select few that want to spend the money.
Right.
And have that big, fancy, loud motor and get the heads turning up here. And then you have the people that just want to take the stock 4.6, kick the windows out, and will still be there right at the end. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see what comes. I mean, we know some people that are coming with, very well built cars, but we have other people who never built a V8, who have messaged us multiple times and are going to, pretty much run what they brung. They're going to do building to the rules and asking the right questions and, putting some time and some extra money in and stepping out. So maybe this will get people to, to go to the next level a little bit. If we can get this V8 class to grow, it would be, cool to do like a standalone V8 show here and draw more of that.
Sure.
But, I mean, I think we'll see a mixed bag.
Yeah. Yeah, the LS motor has really taken off up here for the guys that are stepping into the next level of drivetrain. You can get them for fairly cheap.
Right.
They're popping up more and more.
So that being said, is there a more pronounced push by the owners of the LSs or those that have invested in the purpose-built power plants to get those lower cradles in so they can protect their investment, as they always like to argue?
Yeah, the guys that have put the time and money in, a lot of them have that cradle already bolted on, and I know it makes life so much easier to put it right in the car, but just not this time.
Do you have any provisions on the power plant having to match the make of the car, or is the engine swap allowed? Because I seem to remember at least one time, one of the trips out there, there was big to do that you were going to be able to swap engines.
Yeah, with our rules, you can swap the motors. We do have, the local fair is pretty much it's motor match and make, which it actually drove a lot of our V8 guys away.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, actually, I know of a couple of guys putting cars together just for the fact that they can do what they wanted to do with their, put a Chevy motor in a Ford again, and that excited them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that did sort of narrow the scope of what was viable and really challenge things. So being able to swap that out, I think that's gonna do you guys a lot of good, especially if the fairs are willing to be on board with it and give you the latitude to do this, put the rules together, let you guys run your own inspections, and then basically the fire crews that are there that like to be involved in the inspections as well, often at the fair board or at the fair grounds level. Let them worry about the safety only and let you guys worry about knowing what the technology and what the cars are supposed to be doing. Once you start getting those lines to cross too much, we start worrying too much about some of this other minutia, and it becomes more of a nuisance to get through tech inspection than just to build the car.
Yeah, the safety aspect's the biggest thing. All it takes is a broken hose clamp and you got a car on fire.
Right.
But we put together a pretty good group of guys to inspect and officiate. They've all got, I think, the least amount of years run-ins, probably around 10.
Okay.
And most of them were involved as kids. So we're really hoping that is a plus for us, that we got enough eyes on the track that we can see, before anything bad happens.
Is anybody bringing any Volvo wagons?
No.
Yeah, actually I know of at least one. That's a very popular car for the Derby in Addison. So that and Subarus. Boy, them guys up in Addison love Subarus.
Really?
Yep.
The Subarus. So what Subarus are the hot Demolition Derby Subaru?
Seems to be an Outback wagon.
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
No kidding. Now,
It'd be pretty tough.
So that begs so many more questions. Weren't most of those all-wheel drive?
They are, but the automatics at least have just a spot to put a fuse in, and it puts it in two-wheel drive.
Okay. Interesting.
But you should take the drive shaft out, because Seth knows what happens when he gets hit and all of a sudden locks all four back in, and he gets disqualified.
Uh-oh. What happened there?
I tried the fuse trick.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Something with the computer. Well, it did, but something with the computers overrode the system. And when we came down to the end of the heat and they were taking two, I was the third guy who got DQ'd because it went into all-wheel drive. So,
wow.
Yeah, just cut the drive shafts out. Makes life a lot easier.
It surely does.
I suppose. That's interesting. I seem to remember there was a truck at Morris one time that there was some debate on whether or not he did or didn't have all-wheel drive, and then all of a sudden the drive shaft in the back of the truck broke, and he was almost able to pull away using the front-wheel drive. So I don't know if he had just dropped it into all-wheel drive and let it all flop around or what happened, but that was pretty interesting to see. Long ago, though. Jeez, that was a long time ago.
We watched, probably the scariest truck heat I've ever watched was in Brockton when they had a bunch of them Durangos flying around there in all-wheel drive.
Yeah, yep. When the Durango started showing up at Brockton, it changed everybody's opinion of what that full-size, what that truck class can do. Is the Durango's going to be with the junk run, or are you going to make those run with the full-size?
I call it a mini truck.
Okay.
I don't know of anybody bringing one yet.
Yeah, give it time.
Yep. Like they're the same size of a Explorer or a Ranger, I'd say.
Right. The Explorers are pretty dominant for that stuff. Same thing like the Safari vans.
Yep. That's caravan country up there in Addison. Those guys love Dodge Caravans.
So we always talk about how cars are so hard to find. It's tough to find a minivan, at least a Dodge, and up that part of the country, up north part of New York State, that isn't all rusted out from the salt on the roads, because the winter up there lasts 10 months out of the year. What's the condition of some of these things that they're finding? Can you find them? Are they cheap? Are they available? Are they around?
I don't think they're cheap because with the scrap value, the cat prices and everything we've had this summer, I do know some guys that really like caravans struggled to get what they wanted this year.
Really?
Yep.
Are they looking for the square 80s ones, or the like the 98 to 2000 ones?
The 98 2000 style.
Yeah.
It's what most of them are running. It's pretty rare to find one of them square ones that's not rotted right in the ground.
There's one that the person used to bring one. I think it was like an 86 or an 87 Dodge Caravan, and they used to drive it to school every day. It was still their daily runner, and that thing was in really, really good shape. And I had to be diplomatic about the conversation. I didn't just want to say how your car has some value as a demolition derby vehicle, but I can't say that I didn't think it.
Yeah. The Toyota and the Honda vans are getting pretty popular too.
Are they hard to find though?
They seem to be very hard to find.
Yeah, the Sienna van is essentially a minivan, a Camry minivan, or an Avalon up front, and it's just got a little bit more space between the motor mounts and the core support, so it gives you a little bit more room to work with. But they are pretty similar in terms of the construction, and they can be monsters. Guy Raymond, he drove one of the Siennas this summer over at Broome County. And I think Stickles has driven a couple of those too. If you can get your hands on one, it's worth its weight in gold. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, Seth's got one.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's holding on to it.
He didn't rent that one out for the Green Mountain Show, huh? That one stayed home?
No, I overpaid for one and to rent it out. I found a Town and Country, and it was in the family, and I bought that, and work travels fast.
Yeah.
I bought that and sold it. But to add another car to the fleet to come to the show, so trying to make everyone happy and get the car count we can. So
yeah, I think car count wise we'll probably do pretty good. I know during the fair up there they had 140 cars between the two nights on a Tuesday and a Wednesday.
Not bad.
No, that's pretty impressive for a county fair.
Yeah, that's not bad. To be pulling those kind of numbers these days is pretty stout. I mean, you start figuring that night one is going to leave you some leftovers to go into night two, but those cars had to come from somewhere on night two. They had to be fresh ones at some point because not everything was runnable after night one.
No, for sure.
You guys can, if anybody listening wants more information on this, jump online, look up Tom and Seth on Facebook. You can also find DNA Motorsports online. Just punch in DNA Motorsports. It's on Facebook. You can find the details for the show there. It is the Green Mountain Fall Bash, September 25th. Coming up, one-day show, Addison County Fairgrounds in Virgins, Vermont. 1 o'clock start time. I like that early start time, too. The start time itself is for the Derby, and just going to run everything straight through. Is there going to be any inspection open up the day before?
Yeah, we'll be up there the night before. We'll probably be set to inspect around 4, and I think we're going to do it to 7 or 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
for anybody that can get it up there. And we'll impound anybody that's got a car. So even if they just want to bring the cars up the night before, I'll have my camper there, and we can park them all up in the back by the camper.
There we go. Fantastic. Well, guys, man, wish you the best of luck. Keep in touch. Let me know how everything's going. If you need anything else, definitely reach out. I hope the show goes well. And we look forward here in a little over 10 days to talking to a winner here on Crash Course at the conclusion of the Green Mountain Fall Bash.
Absolutely. I really appreciate the help you've given us, Chris.
Of course.
You did a lot of decal work for us. It's greatly appreciated.
For sure. Hopefully hopefully it draws the attention that it's supposed to, right?
I think it has.
Excellent. Well, guys, good luck. Be safe, and hopefully the commission leaves you alone. That's very interesting. I didn't know that existed up there. That's I learned something today. So I appreciate you coming on the show, guys.
All right, thank you.
We'll see you later. Bye now.
Yeah, bye.
There goes Seth and Tommy. Shifting gears here, let's while we get everybody else on the phone, let's do this stuff quick so that we can run through it. We're going to be talking with Nick King here in a moment. I want to take a moment to recognize Justin Sager. Again, Justin passed away. Happy birthday to him. Posthumously, of course. We're certainly missing Justin being around, and wanted to take a moment to recognize his birthday today. Blizzard Bash is coming up. Live heat draws are going to be Wednesday, November the 10th. That's at 8 o'clock. Thursday, November the 11th, is opening round of qualifying for the national and qualifying bracket teams. Friday the 12th is national and qualifying round 2. Hey, how's it going? Let me put you in. 80s Bone Stock and the Street Stock Weld one and done also on the card for November the 12th. Saturday the 13th is a double program. Compact and Limited Weld Team Round 1 and the trucks. Limited Weld going to be part of that program. And then the evening national and qualifying B features, compact and limited weld B features, the mods and front wheel drive hobo stock also on the card. Championship Sunday comes around. 4 team features, limited welds, compacts, qualifying and national, and the 2-man extreme class also on the card for Championship Sunday at Blizzard Bash. Smash It Demolition Derby has a couple of fairs left this year. They are going to be in action on the 25th of September. They got a little bit of a break here since the 8th of September. September 25th is the Ashland County Fair in Ashland, Ohio. 27th and 28th is the Brown County Fair in Georgetown, Ohio. October 15th and 16th is the Fairfield County Fair in Lancaster. And then the cleanup show at Fayette County Fair is October 23rd in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Smith Metalworks has been a big part of a lot of the action that we've been talking about. That's an all-purpose. Did we lose you? Phone malfunction there real quick. All-purpose fabrication shop that has taken the Northeast by storm. Smith Metalworks features more than 40 years of combined metalworking experience. The hallmark of the product line is the pointed and flat front bumpers. They replicate popular factory releases. You'll recognize it as soon as you put eyes on them. They can be stuffed or run hollow. There's a compact version of the pointed bumper as well. You should check out the super stock option. Other items include Crown Victor skins, battery boxes, engine mounting systems, and pedal combos and shifters. The shop offers all the odds and ends, such as distributors and distributor clamps and weld-in centers. Be sure to ask about the GM floor liners. In-person locations are in Mercer, Uniontown, and Bethlehem. Visit them online. Visit smithmetalworks.info for more details. Jeffy's Fab Farm is recognized as an industry leader in all manner of purpose-built demolition derby parts, starting with rear ends in '06. Jeffy's Fab Farm expanded to headers in '08, and the shop can boast a combined 70-plus years of mechanical skill. The Fab Farm specializes in LS conversions and conversion components. With consistent feature wins across North America, your turnkey solution is only a phone call away. Jeffy's Fab Farm Camry in a Box campaign sets you up for success with a retail price of $525. If you need to ask about the multi-fit shifter options, you'll also find fuel and air parts, suspension and transmission items, steering components, pedal switches, and gauges. If you need it, it's on the farm, jeffhughesfabfarm.com. The Virtual Unified Point Series is back in action this weekend after taking a quick weekend off. Let's see if that works this time. Iron City National is coming up this weekend. Then Triple D's Coshocton County Fair in Ohio, October the 2nd. Same day, Spinning Wheels San Filippo. Hey, let me put you in. Hang on. San Filippo Smash is going to be in Morris, New York, October the 2nd, 8th, and 9th. This hosts High Banks Beatdown in Salem, Indiana. The 16th is Rodney Mann's Preble County Fair in Eaton, Ohio on the 16th of October. The 23rd is Smash It's Cleanup Show. 29th through the 31st is Dead Man's Buried Alive in Cumberland, Maryland. And then November the 6th is the Buchanan Edwards Winter Destruction in Proctorville. Right now, Steven Sickles is out front with 156 points. Then Mason Stacy with 70. Terry Abadi with 66. Dan Drews with 56. TJ McCulloch hanging out there in 5th place with 50. Stay up to date with everything online at the 527unifiedseries.com. We talked about the Fab Farm. We talked about Smash It. So one of the last things to do is to hit on the Hardcore Tour. The Final Confrontation is the only event left on the Hardcore Tour, September 25th and 26th. $15,000 to win Elite Class, the $2,500 to win Hardcore Full Size with a $3,500 Hellraiser Award presented by Jeffrey's Fab Farm. $5,000 to win Hobby Stocks, $4,000 to win Compacts, Minivans, Trucks, SUVs, Youth Full Size, Youth Compacts, Hobby Stocks, and Powder Puffs. Also on the card, HardcoreDerbyPromotions.com has the details. At New Alex last weekend on the 8th, or excuse me, West Alex rather, on the 8th of September, J.D. Lorraine took the win in the full-size class over Chance Patterson and Mike Noble. Kevin Brownlee got the Hellraiser Award. Compact winners on the 8th, Ricky Yeager got the win over J.D. Lorraine. Almost a sweep there for J.D. Brian Cargill was third. Ricky Yeager got the Hellraiser Award in the Compacts. Youth Compacts on the 7th, Andrew Heather got the win over Earl Owens and Gerald Hay. And the Hobby Stocks, Wes Mounts got the win over Kevin Brownlee and Randy Graham. Randy Graham with third place also took home the Hellraiser Award. So that gets you up to speed on all the happenings there with Hardcore Demolition Derbies. And we're going to turn our attention now to everything that is waiting for us out there with the Iron City Nationals. We've got Nick King joining us on the line. Nick, man, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. So it's upon us. We're into the final stretch. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready. We're a bunch of us are going to be in town, I think, Wednesday. I'm driving out Wednesday. Joe's coming up from Florida on Wednesday. We're going to just have a few days of relaxing, go down to the track. Track's pretty close to Steve and them, so
sure. Just
kind of go down there, make sure everything's tightened up and ready, and we'll be ready to rock and roll.
How's JC doing?
Good. He had that little COVID scare, but other than that, he's doing great, so he's ready. We're excited to see him. We haven't seen him since then, so.
Since
the COVID thing.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think back.
We're just excited to see him.
I was thinking probably you hadn't seen him since going back as far as February.
We seen him in March. We was down there. We all went down there in Derby in March, so we seen him then, and then I think I was back in Florida. I think in May, maybe May. I went down there during Bash for Cash, and I hung out with him then. So
I see. So tell me a little bit about what we can expect. The show has changed a little bit. Going to be run in a bunch of one-and-done formats instead of the 2-day show. Is that just a product of what the drivers were asking for? Because I know out here the one-and-done is certainly more popular than having to run heats and features.
Well, it's kind of just like any big national show this year. We we put pre-entries out there, and for the big, all the other classes was already going to be one and done, but the super stock class was going to be, of course, heats and features, and kind of just like same issue Bash had and stuff like that. Just the entry fees wasn't there, or the entries wasn't there. So I think we had 30 to 35 entries, maybe 40, and then some guys. Maybe we had 40. And then there was guys that called and said, they wasn't going to make it. The entries just quit coming in. Bunch of guys, we probably had 7 or 8 calls that just said that they wasn't going to be able to make it due to either family or, them doing something else or whatever it may be. So we just, as a promotion, we just decided, let's just do a one-shot deal for them and cut the entries off where we have them, and if you wasn't signed up then you're not getting the run now. So
there are other divisions though that are open at the gate, correct? You can still get into.
Yes. All the other classes, people can come sign up day of show. But a lot of people was pre-registered, I think. But yeah, we'll have people show up day of show for the other classes.
I think it just changes your mindset entirely. It puts a little bit more in the driver's hands. There's less to chance. There's less of concern about something weird breaking and then having to fix it and hoping that repair lasts and all the worry about repair plates and retechs and stuff like that. I really like the idea of the one and done format because it puts it all out there. Everybody's out there. There's nobody left on the outside looking in. 40 drivers on the track, and have at it.
Yeah, and then the drivers got really excited when we called and told them that, it's going to be a one and done, and they're allowed their slotted fix-a-plate. So with our rules, if you run like a Ford, like a Crown Vic or something, like a Lincoln or Crown Vic or a Ford car, like a 9802, you get 6 fix-a-plates. Then if you run like a metric GM or an old style or any Chrysler or anything like that, you get 8 fix-a-plates. So we're allowing them to have those prior to inspection, so they can use them however they please now. So it's going to make the cars that much harder. And what they really loved was whenever I told them if they, once they pass inspection and get their sticks, we're going to let them have their unlimited 9-wire.
Okay.
Just as if they just ran a heat. So we're hoping that gets the guys there earlier. Inspection will be done hours before, because I know when I told guys that, I know TJ from Maryland, he said, well, I'll be there at 7 a.m. My car will be in line by, inspection at 8. He said, because I want my car to be in. He said, I'm not cutting any corner. He said, I'm not trying to push nothing. I'm going to get inspected. My car's going to pass, and I'm going to start 9-wiring. So that kind of gives them guys an incentive to get there early. Then they got all day until we tell them they got to be in line to 9-wire, and because 9-wire can go a long ways on a fresh car. So
yeah, it can. So is there any limit to what they can do? I mean, unlimited 9-wire is they
just can't weld it together.
They just can't weld it together. All right.
They just can't weld it together.
Off we go.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I don't know if you've ever sat there in a 9-wired car all day. After about 4 hours, you're like, you know what? Let's do a few more, then we're done for the day. So, I mean, not unless you have an absolute crazy crew that's just going to be there for 10 hours, 9-wiring and 9-wiring. After about 4 hours, you're like, you know what? That's enough 9-wire for the day.
Well, yes, I understand that. And with the rules, the body mounts aren't as important, keeping the body on the frame. But like you said, 9-wire on a fresh car can go an awful long ways, and it doesn't take a whole lot to do that, other than just making sure that you got enough footage to do all the wraps where you're talking about going around rails and going around with the different tricks with pressurization and cages and 9-wire going up and down from the roof and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there comes a threshold. I was fascinated with some of those pictures that were going around with an unlimited 9-wire car that had the 2 giant spools in the back and it just wasn't going to compress.
Yep.
I don't remember.
A lot of people was like you said, it was crazy to see that, but heck, at like Tosh's show, River City Rampage, we've been seeing that for 3 years now.
Oh,
guys started doing that because after the heat, it's unlimited 9-wire, and guys were just literally just taking 100 pounds of 9-wire and just shoving it behind their gas tank protector, because it had to have a 4-inch gap between your gas tank protector and your package tray.
Right.
But after the heat, guys would just literally just throw it in there and it would just lay there until the package tray hit it, and then it'd be tight.
Right.
Yeah. The first time I seen it, I was like, holy cow. I was like, and they was like, it's unlimited, and it wasn't welded or nothing like that. So I was like, that's legal.
Have you ever tried that?
No, I don't run cars. I'm barely even allowed to do my 9-wire, and they yell at me for it because I do too much. So
even at 4 hours, it hits a threshold.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting down there. This show is going to be very, very good. It's going to be fun to get back down there. The character of that track, the atmosphere, when the lights go down and the cars start turning around that facility, and you got stands on all sides. It's not Coliseum style seating, but it's pretty close. And the cars, they're bouncing off the tires. It's unlikely that anybody's going to get hung up on the wall. It's generally all the tracks or all the derbies that I've seen there have run to a conclusion, and the track sort of cleans itself. It pushes everything off to it's almost like the bottom right corner from that concession stand, and the upper left corner from that vantage point seem to be where the cars sort of congregate when they die. They sort of just end up in those spots, and there's a lot of open space in the center of the track, and guys put in work. Somebody comes away with the win in that, especially as busy and big as those one and dones are going to be. They're going to be
Yeah, they definitely earned it. Whoever wins each class is definitely going to be earned, because our other one and done heats are going to be some good ones. Like the most wanted fine art street stock class.
Yes.
Which I guess Jason called it the not so elite class.
Not so elite, right?
That's going to steal the show, because everyone loves street stock anymore. You know that street stock class is pretty popular. But how we did it, Sauer, when Sauer first told us that he didn't want to run this year, he wanted to help with the Derby and he wanted his own class. In our little group thing, we said, what do you want? He said, I want it to be where you can run any kind of car. I said, well, I mean, you want a full size, you want compact? He said, as long as it's not a full size truck. I said, all right. So it's completely street stock, but there's going to be vans, there's going to be Explorers, there's going to be mini trucks, there's going to be compact cars, there's going to be full size cars. It's going to be rocking.
You're going to have Explorers ramping over the top of W bodies.
Yeah, and then a Crown Vic's going to come and hit the Explorer and send him over top of the W.
Right, park it right up on top, monster truck style.
Yeah, and like I said, Sauer wanted it, and that's what he got. And he's so happy with it. He's got a bunch of his buddies running it. I know we have, I think it's Gerardo from Mexico is coming to run. I think Bad Ronnie's coming from Canada.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's got some rappers that he hangs out with. They're running. Pac-Man Shook. He's running. It's going to be fun and entertaining.
Well, it's making me a little bit nervous, and I think Jason even made this point. Is like originally it was just sort of a place for some of his buddies that have never been in Demolition Derby to go, and then all of a sudden you see some of these Demolition Derby ringers that are pulling in there. Like Bad Ronnie in that class he's going to have a bit of an advantage over some of these people, no matter what he brings.
Well, that's what we told him. We said, Sauer, I said, this class is open for anybody. I said, and the thing about street stock is everyone loves that because they don't have to spend a lot of time on it.
Right.
And he's enjoyed it now, because I bet we'll have 30 cars in that class.
Wow.
So, that's his class, and he's excited about it, and he'll talk more when he comes on here in a little bit or whatever. But he's excited. It's cool. It's to see him pumped up, and every day he's working on cars, putting tires on them, or whatever, maybe moving the battery for his buddies or something. He's very excited, and I'm excited for him to have that class. So.
What about for you? I mean, you've been to Florida a bunch of times. Baseball has taken over your life. You've still been active. JD's been running some derbies and stuff. What have you been up to?
This year we just went to Florida. Billy Benoit built me a car down there, so we went down there for a guys trip in March, and Steve and Todd and Jason and Joe and all of them, we all ran down there, and we did really good down there. And then this year I kind of laid. I didn't really run. Actually, I didn't run at all this year. Besides that, I built a car for my niece, and I built the cars for Billy and Randy to come up here and run. And them cars took first, second, and second. So it was still a good year. I didn't have to run to be happy with my year. So it was all still a pretty good year.
Did you have to take a little bit of time off because there was just nothing left in the tank and all the parts were used up after all the running around you did for the point series last year?
No, because I mainly run just the street stock stuff. So,
yeah.
Only thing I really need is a gas tank and some tires. I don't really, and a good bumper here or there. But a lot of my buddies make fun of me because I always tell them, I say, guys, it's not about how much work you got to put some work into it, make sure it's right. But I always think it's driving, definitely when it comes to street stock. So they'll spend weeks on theirs. I spend a few days, and they yell at me and say I half-assed something or something like that. And then then we still all do good. And it's like, trying to tell you guys. So for me, this year was just kind of relaxed year. It was kind of good. Because I ran more last year in COVID than I ever have.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a couple drivers that from your neck of the woods that can say that with all the points races that happen and some of the traveling and finding facilities where we're still having shows. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, we ran more. Portland, Indiana was our hometown track last year, and it was, you know what I mean? It was like, man, we can get over there now. I never knew where Portland, Indiana was. Now I can ride a bicycle to there.
Right. Showtime is 6 o'clock on Saturday?
Yep, 6 o'clock. I think the pits are going to open probably at 7 maybe, or 8. Probably 8.
Okay.
Fans, general admission can start coming in, I think, at 4 maybe, 3 or 4. Pits are open all day. We got a lot of cash or a lot of money to give away and some championship belts. We got if anyone's listening or whatever, we got plenty of room in the Big Wayne heavyweight class, which is like full-size kicker cars.
Okay.
We got in the compact mod class, we got plenty of spots for those 2 classes. So get some cars built or patch them up, add some kickers, and get them there. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a rocking show. Every heat, I think, is going to be rocking. So.
Well, the pace has certainly never left for wanting at any version of this, whether it was the Keystone Nationals back in the day or the Iron City Nationals under this iteration. And that track is notorious for having wide open features as well. So
my first time ever seeing that track was last year at Keystone, and I was amazed. And then we went up there. We got a guy coming from Georgia, just real quick. He wrote me and said, "How's the dirt up there?" For trying to do a tire selection. I said, "Whatever tire you want, buddy, because it's going to be smoking." He's like, "For real?" I said, "I was there when it rained for 8 hours for Big Wayne night, and the track dried up so fast it was unreal."
Yep.
I said, "So don't worry about that. This ain't no Georgia clay or anything like that where you're going to sink. Don't worry about that." I said, it's like asphalt. You're going to be moving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that track is very amazing. I really enjoy going there. So,
Smith Metalworks and Enforcer Fabrication helping make this one possible. Looking forward to getting down there and taking in some of the action over there at the Iron City Nationals. Nick, I probably won't be there at 7 o'clock, but it'll probably be early afternoon when we get there.
Yeah, that's fine. Just make sure you find us, and we'll catch up in person. And glad to see you're coming.
Yep, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yep, will be very fun.
Good deal. Nick, appreciate you coming on. Everybody remember, Iron City Nationals coming up on Saturday, September the 18th. Nick, I'll see you down there.
Yes, sir. See you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Nick King. Here locally, the Lake Erie Rumble is going to be this weekend as well, September 17th, 18th and 19th, I think, if I got the date of that right. Hopefully I'm not planning on leaving on the wrong day. Yeah, 18th and 19th, I believe, is what the plans are for that. So that's sitting out there. So if you're not willing to make the trip all the way down near Pittsburgh, you can stay a little bit local and check that out. Fulton Speedway, John King, I missed this last week and I meant to get to it. John King, Fulton Speedway had a derby back on the weekend of the 30th of August. Wanted to catch up with that. Fulton winners. First place was Freddie White. Second place was Ryan Wilder. Third place, Jose Santiago. Mad Dog was Gabe Forward. The 4 and 6 cylinder first place, Robert Hartman got the win there. 74-year-old Cheryl Richardson got second place. Third place was Hunter Snyder. Eric Sullivan got the Mad Dog. Big thanks to Big D's Auto for the Mad Dog trophies over there with King Smash 'em, Crash 'em, Demolition Derbies. Going to get a couple quick thoughts here from one Jason Sauer, and we'll be on our way, and we'll put our final marks in this episode of the Crash Course. Let's see. I lost his number there for a moment. There we go. Okay. Back in the saddle and off and running. So we got a couple notes here coming in about Burlington Motorsports Park, October to the 10th. Yo, hey, let me put you in. So, Jason Sauer joining us on the line. You got all your lawn mowing done?
I'm going to take a break. I just picked up some yards. I got to mow tomorrow morning. But I help the neighborhood. Like whenever old people or people who just can't mow get a citation, I show up with community service and try to get that knocked down. That way they don't end up with a fine.
Awesome. There's not a moment in the day that you are not finding some type of either side hustle or some way to help and give back to the city of Pittsburgh.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed and lucky, and I want to give back as much as I receive.
Well,
twice as much.
I'm hoping we're still having this conversation about you being blessed and lucky on September 19th, and your friends aren't ready to strangle you for roping them into the not-so-elite class at the Iron City Nationals.
That's pretty cool. That's a new name just given to the class there, Todd. Todd gave it the not-so-elite builder name here the other day. I'm pretty excited for the class. It's, we got 8 people, 7 of whom never have driven a derby car in their life. And they're from faraway places, some of them. And some of them from right here, inner city Pittsburgh. So we got celebrities, some blue check mark celebrities involved in this event. So, I'm going to need Nick King's help. He's got a lot of work to do on Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah. Well, what did you envision this when you started? Because the words that Nick told me was basically no full-size trucks, everything else goes, and just have a ball with it. And now you've got pro-level demolition derby drivers that are entering this class.
Well, we just got 25 drivers as of a couple hours ago.
Right.
Some of my slacker friends finally signed up. So here's what it was. In the city, we call ourselves the Most Wanted Car Club, and we all have spray-painted rides, as you may know. And a lot of people don't commit to spray painting the car that they're making payments on. They commit to the piece of junk in the driveway. So we're collecting more and more cars. It just so happens this year that we have a bunch of cars that didn't pass inspection. So it started with Abe the Lincoln, the town car, and it grew to a CRV, and it grew to an Acura. And before we knew it, we had an Explorer. We had all these art cars that I was like, well, why don't we just smash them all? Because everyone's like, let's take them and scrap them. We heard about catalytic converters. I'm like, yeah, we can do all that. But I'm like, why don't we smash them first? And so everyone's like, yeah, let's smash them. So it kind of grew as an idea of, like, how can I get all these cars that are around me and all my first-timer friends involved in Demolition Derby, and why not just smash what we have? And we just take it down to a class where we don't have welders, there's no trailer. You know how this is, man.
Yep.
But, we have nothing. We have a Craftsman tool set. We got Kai, who's done it like 4 times already, so he's been tutored by Ron McClung there, who saved his butt last time we tried doing this.
He's your ringer. Kai has 4 runs. He's the ringer.
Yeah, he's in it. So I'm not running the class. I'm participating on the live stream with Gerardo and I just want to be out there, and I hope my friends are safe. Oh my gosh, I want their car. I want them to have like 1-2 great hits, and then their cars break down, and everyone makes it out of there nice and safe. You know what I mean? Because I know there's some real derby dudes out there that have joined this class because, hey, why not?
Right on. Well,
right?
I'm really excited to get down there and see what this class is all about and what it amounts to, because it seems like it's going to be a ton of fun. I think that the track crews are going to have a lot of stuff to pick up, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, yeah, when we were out there in Chino, California, I saw a derby held with a couple little things. I'm not super derby smart, but I noticed a couple little things that I was like, that is some stuff we need to bring back.
I believe separate of one another. Brian once told me this, and you told me the same thing in one of our first conversations. You said there is no prouder death for an automobile than a demolition derby.
That's true. That's true. Like, if you're going to take it to the scrapyard, why not smash it? Seriously.
If it's going to go in a crusher, it might better go in a crusher bent.
Right? And that's fun. I mean, because we have very little invested. You know what I mean? We just, the classes for the tires that came with it, the bumpers that came with it. And what we've learned is there's some cars that have absolutely no bumper.
Right.
The Ford Explorer has 0 metal that stretches from frame rail to frame rail. It's a piece of plastic. The Acura, also a piece of plastic, but the Honda has a piece of steel.
Right.
So we're finding that behind those bumpers of some of these cars is absolutely nothing.
Right.
So I feel like we should have kept the bumper covers on.
Your buddy's eyes are going to get open a little bit when they put their cars side by side with the action that they go through, especially the people that are first-year Demolition Derby, first time, first ever experience. You put those side by side with the big Wayne cars. The kicker cars are going to be pretty wild.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I got to paint a big Wayne car today there in Todd's shop. We had a tremendous amount of fun doing that. We had Mark Sayopa was helping me weld together my last trophy. It's like a little mini hood that I cut down into I cut a hood down and made it a mini hood. But the Derby car, I painted a Raiders emblem on one side for our friends of the Dolaras. And then on the other side, we used the Dodgers font, the blue Los Angeles Dodgers, and turned it into Delara. So that was pretty rad.
Nice.
I don't know. I had a great time doing it.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to catching up with you down there at the Iron City Nationals coming up on Saturday. I'll get there early enough to where hopefully we'll be able to catch up for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the party starts on Wednesday.
Right. I've got school, so I won't be there until Saturday.
Okay.
But absolutely, I'll look you guys up. Now, you guys are doing some live streaming down there. Is that during the whole event, or is it just at the beginning, like what you did down in Florida?
I think we're going to do it like we did in Ohio.
Okay.
Where we just have a live stream going, there's a laptop happening, and it'll just be on. If anything else is on, then that's on too. You know what I mean? We're just running our little program. I think it's going to be Todd, I, and Gerardo with some wireless microphones and some cameras, and Gerardo has some graphics he's going to try out, new and different. And, well, we'll see what happens. We'll get him here on Wednesday, and then we're going to have a live stream every night, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just to test drive the system and kind of, figure it out. So there's a little just up in the airness there, but like what we did for Ohio, there's plenty of bandwidth to, I'm really hoping that we can figure something out that's unique, fun, and one time only with the live stream,
There you go.
Why, like, if you're going to be there, and Gerardo, and I'm sure Alex is going to be there, like, I think there's going to be a whole bunch of input that perhaps we can, like, do something unique, something that's, I'm not saying never been done, but, like, we could try something. Like, I don't know. I used to own a stage, like, for 15 years, I ran the sound for a stage, and impromptu collaborations was almost necessity,
Absolutely.
So I feel like all of us have that, experience. Yep. We should see what we can do.
Well,
right? Or am I just talking funny?
No, we'll know more when we get there, I suppose, right?
Yeah, we're gonna. I have no idea. I know Gerardo wants to do his thing, and I want to support him coming all this way to do his thing. He wants to do something so him and we do our live stream where I send the signal to Mexico, and then he resends the signal back out on the Most Wanted Fine Art YouTube page. So that is something we can do over and over again. But we want to try, so why I'm being so I'm not sure, is because Gerardo wants to try something that only he can do while on site in America.
Sure.
So we're trying to come up. He has some augmented reality. I don't think that's going to be done, but he has. He wants to push a couple boundaries as far as video production can be done. So cool. I don't know if you're jazzed about that type of stuff. It gets me jazzed. I like YouTube. I like video.
Well, you got a ton of stuff going. You got all day to work on it on Saturday, get things dialed in. You got the party starting on Wednesday. Plenty of cars to paint, plenty of cars to make ready, and I look forward to catching up with you. It'd be good to see you again on Saturday during the Iron City Nationals down there at New Alex, Pennsylvania.
That's pretty cool. We've hosted a few derbies together through the years.
Yes. Yep.
Gosh, where were we last time? We were at the Southern Nationals.
Yeah, it was Florida last time. Yep.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
It was good.
I remember being in the booth with you.
Yep.
It was pretty cool.
For sure.
You know I get all jazzed up.
You do love Demolition Derby. I don't know if anybody loves it more.
No, there's no love it more. You know who? Mike DeFricia. That dude.
Ooh, good point.
We're back and forth on who loves it harder.
Is Mike going to be at the Iron City show?
I don't know. We've asked everybody. We've asked him. You know, what I mean, we've basically asked Pete Hansen with this not so elite builders class running joke here. You know, you know what I like? I like all the dudes coming up from the South and all the drivers from New York.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. They're really making it fun, along with the drivers from California. You know what I mean? I like the Nationals part of this show that we're about to have.
Absolutely.
I think that's, for me, for the party guy, I like it when we come together as a giant derby family out here in the field and throw down on some cars.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got a stage to do
exciting.
it.
What do you want from, if you could ask me, what do you want from me? What can I do to help you?
Nothing. I just wanted to get some input on the not so elite builders class. See what you were up to. It's already past 7:00 here. I've got to go over and I've got to get everything wrapped up and get over and pick up my kid from soccer practice. So I'm running late. I didn't realize it.
Well, sorry to talk your ear off.
Oh no, it's my own fault. I got wrapped up in the conversation talking about with you the not so elite class and the different cars and the different entities and stuff that we're going to be coming and the different characters at play. What you're going to be up to? There's no apologies needed.
Well, I appreciate you calling me all these years, and I have to tell you a million times that your effort. I notice what you're doing. You're killing it. You're always doing great. So congratulations on your efforts, man.
I appreciate it. I'll be sure to find you when we get down there to New Alex this weekend.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
See you soon.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye now. There goes Jason Sauer from Most Wanted Fine Art. Going to be involved with that not so elite class as part of the show down there. A bunch of one and dones on deck on Saturday down there in the shadows of Pittsburgh at New Alex Lions Club. Sure do appreciate it. That is going to do it for us here. We are running short on time, so we got to get going. Thanks a lot to all of our guests. Make sure you check out your local derby action. We will see everybody next time. See you then. The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah, online at stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.